Hello guys, welcome back to Jhex Graphics. Hope you guys are doing great. So in this tutorial, I will show you guys how to make a beauty and makeup flyer. So while making a beauty and makeup flyer, the first thing to consider is your image size. So right now we're going to change this to a flyer size. So just click on this and then click on image size and erase this to 1000. So after doing this, the next thing to do now is to design our design. When I mean design, I mean the artwork, the flyer artwork. So you just have to delete this initial text. So after deleting, head to this shape menu and then click on shapes. So making use of this square. So use the dots by the size, or the points by the size of the square, to enlarge the square. And then head to the fill color and then change the color to black. So guys, after doing this, the next thing to do now is to mask our shape, to mask it to get a nice artwork. So before we do that, let's change the main background color to white. So I'll just click on this and then change the color to, I'll click on color also and then change it to white. So guys, I'll now go back to this menu and then click on max, and then I will enable this and then click on this icon to be able to move this. So for me to move this, I have to click this icon. So now what I will do now is to get a nice shape for my flyer, and to do that I will have to mask the square. So now I'll click on this zoom tool to reduce the size of my maxing tool, so I'll be able to see it clearly. Then I'll click this tick icon and then click this moving tool to be able to edit my my maxing stuff. So I'll just use these points to get a nice shape. So what I'll do now is to use this pointer or the arrows to get a nice shape. So I will just rotate the angles and the directions of these pointers by clicking on it and then rotating them. So my aim here now is to get a nice shape for my flyer. So as you can see, it's very easy. Just click on them and then rotate them. You can zoom and zoom in anytime, zoom in and zoom out anytime you want to see it clearly. And then you rotate, change the direction of the maxing tool. So I'm trying to get that exact shape you saw there on the flyer. So just move the angles of the pointers to get a nice shape. So let's raise this a bit and then reduce this, and I think this is okay. So guys, the next thing to do now is to use that zooming tool to increase this to cover up the layouts, and then you click on this tick icon. So let's click on this to adjust this up a bit, but not outside the square. So after doing this, the next thing you have to do now is to click on out. As you can see, it erases the other part of the square but leaves only the maxing side, and that is just what we want. And so now the next thing to do is click on this, and then after this, just move this a bit up. I think here is okay. So the next thing to do now is to click on shape again and then use the square shape and then enlarge it to cover up these spaces, and then click on the black icon to change it to black. So after this, guys, next thing to do is to click on the maxed object and then copy this. So as we've copied this, we just have to hide it somewhere. Let's just hide it, and then we'll merge the square and the other masked one together, just like this, as you can see. So the next thing we have to do now is to change the color. So click on this color icon and then enable the color. And the next thing to do now is to click on gradients. So I will show you guys the gradient color I used for my design. So guys, the next thing we are going to do now is to change the color of this design. And before we change the color of this design, we need to know the kind of colors we are going to use. And for it to know the kind of colors we are going to use, we need to consider what we are making. What kind of flyers are we making? We are making beauty and makeup flyers, so we have to go with beauty like colors. So I've taken my time and I've selected colors that will be nice for this flyer. So all you have to do now is to copy the color code I use and then input it in your design. I'll just show you how to do that. So click on color and enable this, and then click on gradient. The initial color I used is this, and to get this color you need to click on this plus icon without clicking any color. Just click on this plus icon and then you see a black color here. Then just click on this and then click on this, erase whatever you see here and replace it with these numbers and letters. Erase whatever stuff you see here and replace it with this, and that's for that. And then the next thing to do now is to click on this one here, and then click also on this icon, and then click on this pencil icon, and then erase whatever you see here and then replace it with these exact numbers. When you do that, you will see this gradient color combination. All right, so that's that. All right guys, so the next thing to do now is to click on layers and then click enable this enable the eye icon, and then reduce it a bit. So the next thing to do also is to position it at the center. After doing this, you copy this and then change the color of this one to white. So just click on the color icon and change it to white, and then move it in between the two layers. Sorry. So let's reduce this. Yeah, let's reduce it this way. So make sure it's at the center. You can use the relative position to position it at the center, and then use the position to put it at the middle. So after doing this, the next thing we have to do now is to merge this and this together, this one and this one together. Which one I will merge in? The white and black colors, so merge them together. After merging them together, all you have to do is to click on the erase color icon, and it automatically erases the white part of the design. So increase the tolerance to around 44 or above, and then use the position to bring it down a bit, as you can see. So guys, after doing this, the next thing you have to do now is to change the color of this design we've just made. So click on color and then enable this, and then select this color. This is the color I use, so select this color. You can also make this lighter a bit. Yeah. And so this is the color code for this. So you just have to come here, click on the second icon, and then replace whatever you see here with this color code. So after this, next thing we have to do now is to enable our shadow. So click on shadow and enable this. So I'll just reduce this a bit, and then the Y offset this way. So yeah, after doing this, the next thing to do now is to crop this. So I'll click on crop, scroll up, and then click on crop, and then just crop it at the middle or a bit from the middle. So this is it. So after we've gotten this now, the next thing we have to do is to make our other design artwork. So click on shape and then import the circle shape. So let's increase this to cover up this space here. So after doing this, we just need to change the color. So click on color, enable this, and then change it to this color, but this time make the color lighter. So click on this plus icon and make this color light a bit. As you can see, it is now lighter. So now just click to the back icon to take it to the back. So let's position it well at the edge of this one. So that's right. So guys, the next thing to do now is to change the color of our main background. So click on this to change the color of the main background. So click on color and then gradient. Choose these gradients, but this time around click on this plus icon and then click on this lighter color, then click on this one and then select white. So just rotate this till you get the white light and then click on this one here, and then you are good to go. So what we just do now is to bring this this down a bit, so get the darker part more than the lighter part. Oh yeah, that's too much. Just rotate and to get a nice stuff here. Yeah, I think this is okay. I think this is nice. All right. So let's make the darker part a little bit lighter. So click on this and then make it light a bit. As you can see, it's better now. So all we have to do now is to click on this, and then the next thing to do now is to enable shadow of it. So click on this middle one and then enable the shadow. So click on shadow and enable it. Let's reduce this a bit now. Reduce it and then change the color of the shadow to white, or this color, or make it light. So this is okay. So let's increase this up a bit. So guys, after this, the next thing to do now is to import our first image. So click on import and then import this one. So just click OK and then position it at this side. Position it this way. You can use this icon to increase or reduce it. So position this way and then move it to the back. So let's increase it more. You can use the relative size icon to increase more, and then use the position tool to move it to the back a bit. Alright, after doing this, the next thing to do now is to make another design using the shape tool. So click on shape and then choose the Y shape for the first one, and then position it at the center using the position icon. And then after this, you just have to duplicate this and then click on edit to reduce it more, and then change the color to this and then put it at the center of the other circle. I think this is too big. Let's increase it a bit, then put it at the center using the position tool. So guys, after doing this now, you can see we've gotten our design layout. The next thing to do now is to rule our margin or the bleed. in case if you are printing. That's why the bleed is very important. You need to give spaces at each edges of your flyer, so it can be printable and other things. So just click on this grid and then click on this, then move the grid to the left and then give it a space of 5 here. Just reduce this to 95, giving it a space of 5 here, and then move this to this side, giving it a space of 5 too, and then move this one up and give it a space of 3. Now move this one downward and give it a space of 3 also. That would be 97. So we can take this away because we don't need this. We don't need these ones, these ones, and then you click this. So guys, next thing to do now is to import our logo. But for the purpose of this try, I just use a beauty signature logo. So just click on this and click on shapes, reduce the opacity to 0, and then the stroke to 3, and then reduce the circle size. Change the color also to the gradient color, maybe this, but this time around make the color a little bit pinkish. Yeah, I think this is fine. Then move it. Let's reduce it more. You can use the position tool to edit this. So guys, before we continue, if you're new to my channel and you haven't subscribed, subscribe and also click on the notification icon so you can get updated whenever I release a new video. Thank you guys for subscribing. So the next thing to do now is to click on this icon and then click on the text, and then click on edit and write in your company name. For this tutorial, use Elegance company, Elegance Beauty Salon, Elegance. And then all I have to do now is to change the fonts to a beauty font, because you are designing a beauty flyer, so you have to go with a beauty font and the rest. So Candy Mustard is a beauty font. As you can see, it's under my beauty salon font. And now the next thing to do is click on color and then choose gradient and that same color. And then let's change the pattern to something like this. Would be nice. Let's reduce it downward a bit. So from here we can position this text at the center of the circle stroke. If you have a logo, you can also import your logo and place it at this side. Remember, your design must not cross the ruled margin of bleed, so make sure your design is not crossing it. So the next thing to do is to type in our beauty salon text. Remember, if you are making a beauty flyer, you have to be using a beauty and makeup fonts. They are fonts meant specifically for beauty and makeup. So this is beauty salon. All right, I'll just give it a space here. Beauty salon. So let's click on AB and change the font to something this, and then let's position it very well. So after this is to write our other texts, maybe your slogan or your adverts stuffs. Glow, shine always. So now let's change this font also to another beautiful font. So let's use the other pattern. not this one. This will be all right. So now let's align this at the center. So click on align and then position this at the center, and then click on this size icon to reduce this. Close, shine always. So after this, the next thing to do is write in our discount rate. So let's type in 50%, or depending on the kind of discounts we are giving, 50% discounts. So let's change this font also to a bolder font. For this, you can use any kind of bold font. So let's use Roboto bold for this. And then after this, just type in your discount text. So duplicate this by clicking on copy and type in your text, discounts, in capital letters. So reduce the size to fit in the circle. And then place both text at the center of the circle. Alignment matters always when making your design, so make sure all your text are aligned in any direction, in any perspective. Make sure they are all aligned. So after doing this, now you can easily lock each layer to avoid them from moving or disturbing you while making design. So you can just lock them all by clicking on the unlock or lock button. So after this, we just have to type our text, our services. I will just type in massage. Depending on the kind of service you offer, massage, give it a double space. Okay, with a space, and then micro dermabrasion, facials, peels, massage, facials, peels, waxing, and so on and so forth. So just give it another space to give it other designs. So let's reduce this, let's reduce it, and then increase this one so it can fit in the box, and then position it using the relative position at the center. So let's still reduce it a bit. So let's check. I think this is nice. So the next thing to do now is to click on let's zoom this so we can place our auto design. So click on this and then click on this grid. So let's reduce this so we can see our grid. So click on this grid and then click on this icon and then click on this one to duplicate this. So now we can zoom. We can zoom this and then click on this to remove the zoom, and then let's move this to the center of the text. So the next thing to do now is to click on the text icon again, and let's put a dot, just a dot to make a dot, and then let's use a bold fonts like Roboto black. So let's change the color of this text now to this, and then place it at the center of each of the word. So let's duplicate and place at the center of the other one. So just duplicate, copy, and then place at the center. Copy and place at the center. Make sure it is at equal alignment. So use the position tool to place it at the center of each treatment you are offering. So copy and place. After this, now you click on the plus icon to zoom, and then click on it again so you can be able to type. The next step now, let's eliminate this now, is to type in to put our square design. So click on this square and then make it to be aligned with the initial text, and then reduce it. Now reduce it to a smaller size, and then change the color to this. This is the color code of this, and then use the relative position to position it at the center. Now let's give the space. I think this space is nice. Next thing to do now is to type in about the about of our business, of our salon. So I can say let me just say something like this: elegance, for the sake of time, let me write something short. Elegance beauty salon provides excellence select treatments for your skin, massage, facials, and more. Let me just make it short, and more. So write something nice here, and then reduce this, and then let's increase this. So next thing we have to do now is to align this at the center. So click on this align, and then here. So let's make this text smaller than the main service font. So make it smaller, and then align and position at center, and that's right. So let's move this up a bit. So after doing this, the next thing to do now is to make our photo design. So let's increase this. Let's click on this and then bring out our alignment button. So duplicate this and place it. What is the size of this? This is 95. All right. So click on this, get this, and then place it somewhere here, and then duplicate this. So give it a space also here. So now what you have to do now is to zoom this so we'll be able to see this very well. Now let's click on shape and then bring out our circle shape. Let's delete this. Click on shapes, then circle shape, then place it here. Let me create this edit. So copy this and place it somewhere. So while making yours, make sure everything is aligned at the center of each other. So copy and place. Now after doing this, let's copy this now and then reduce the size a bit. Let's minus 2 from it, making 19, and then change the color now to the color of this, and then make it darker or more red, as you can see. Then bring it downward and then place it at the center of each circle. So next thing is to copy and place at the center of the circles. So this circles is where we're going to put our photos. You can actually use texture as your photo, but for the sake of this tutorial, I will show you another way in which you can insert pictures inside shapes without using the texture aspect. So from here, the next thing we have to do now is to click on import and import our photos. So I'll make use of this photo for the first one. So just click on this circle shape and then position it very well to get a nice circle, and then click. So now you reduce and place in the already made circle. So let's increase this a bit. So also do the same for the other one. So you click on the circle and then make it a complete circle, and then place, reduce and place. Use the position icon to place it at the center. So reduce it to fit in the circle. So let's do for the last photo, which is this. So place it, reduce it, and then place. So guys, links on how you can get or where to download these images will be on the description. The images and fonts used in this video. So from here we can then zoom and then write in other text. So let's bring this down so we can write our texts. Let's bring this down. So you just write the services that each photo represents. Okay, let me use sorry. So let's click on this and click on text and then type in the services. Okay, let me use waxing for this. Waxing. Type in the service you're offering, which is, I'm editing this again, sorry. So now just change the font now to the other fonts, a bold font, which is Roboto, and then you bring it down and then reduce it using the relative using the size to the smaller size but nice, and then use the color icon to change it to this, the same color with the circle. So after this, the next thing to do now is to copy also and then write for each services. Okay, let me say this is facial, and then you can use this to bring it down ASAP. Then place as center and then duplicates and edits to the other one which should be massage. So use this to change the locations and the rest. So after this, now the next thing you have to do now is to place another design. So I will just bring this out and then change the, I need this to be tiny, so that's why I'm doing this. And then bring okay, let me change this color to black, and then bring another shape which should be white, and then increase, and then make it overlap the initial color a bit. So now let's merge both together. After doing this, use the erase color tool to erase the white parts here. So let's merge. Oh, this is way too big, so let's redo this and make it a little bit smaller. So make this very small. So I think it's small now. From here you merge it together and erase the white aspects. So next thing you have to do is to merge and dash it to make it alone. So merge, and then bring it downward and at the center. So use this relative position to place everything at the center. So let's change the color of this now to a light color, something light. So use the plus icon now to change your gradient color, right? So let's see. So what we have to do now is to type in the contact button. So contact us. So let's use one of these text layers to write that. Contact us. Contact us. And then the color to white. Then move it downward. Let's reduce this. And then space it out using the spacing icon. I think this should be nice. So I think this should be nice. So after this now, the next thing you have to do now is to write in our contact details, which should be your phone number and your location. So your client or your prospective customers can easily get to you ASAP. So I just need to duplicate this now and type in the phone number, which should be in this format, your country code, and then your numbers separately. This way, and then position it at the bottom. Remember, it shouldn't cross the borders. And then your location here, copy and then type in your location. and then position it at the bottom. So make sure all your text is aligned equally. You can use the zoom icon to make sure everything is aligned, and then the grid also. So let's bring this contact us and the lines downward a bit. So you just have to copy this, take this and take this, and then click on this to bring them both together without any margin stuff. So you bring them down here, and then let's take this downward a bit. Sorry, just click this and then bring it downward a bit. So after this now, just have to put our code, our icons, social media icons, the phone and the location icons. And then guys, to do that, just click on this icon and then click on import, and import your location icons. So reduce it, use the zoom to zoom your design, and then let's erase this where I think I didn't erase it well when I did erasing stuff. And then reduce it to a small size and change the color to this, and then place it close to the location text. Then the next thing to do now is to import the phone icon. So import, reduce. I didn't also erase as well. So click on erase color to make the stuff perfect, and erase it. And then position it close to the number icon, and then change the color also to the same color as well. So let's give it a space, and same thing to the other icon. From here we can then check this out. So from here you can click on this to save, then save as image, and then choose the quality to be ultra, and then save to gallery. So guys, thanks for watching. See you guys next time on my next video.